Hello and welcome to the Card Subject to Change podcast for the week of Saturday, June 13th. I'm Austin.
I'm James, and can I make a joke worse than I did last time? Stay tuned to find out.
And I'm Ed, and I will totally boot him again if he does.
Man, I feel left out now.
I had to lean into that one that time.
Sure you did, Ed. Sure
I'm
you
trying
did.
to make that my bit in the intro. I just have some sort of terrible ad lib. And half the time we'll be like, and I'm not funny because I haven't thought of a joke.
Oh, that's
How are you?
convenient.
Oh, sorry.
That's convenient because we're already out of titles. We still don't have a title for this episode, do we?
No, we don't. Hopefully somebody will say something quotable enough, and that'll be the title.
Yeah.
Also, I may just straight up say, if something sounds something funny, be like, that could be a title. Maybe that'll be the title.
Why don't we just call it, that will be the title?
It's an option.
Who's gonna break the silence?
Yeah, we got a good show for you tonight. Another good women's match. A big cruiserweight match, and in the main event, as selected by James.
In our main event, we will have Cody versus Darby Allin from the original Fyter Fest, which I'd like to point out, I chose this because I knew Fyter Fest was, that's full of shit. We picked this weeks ago. It's more of a happy accident. But that said, great match from the original Fyter Fest.
We're Bob Rossing it over here.
That's a happy little face paint.
Yeah, that wouldn't describe happy face paint for Darby Allin.
Yeah.
And
like a smile skull. Anyway.
And if that main event isn't enough for you, we should have a pretty interesting dark match. And if that vague promise of if that vague promise isn't enough for you, we're also gonna make an announcement about episode 10 at the end of the show. So stay tuned. First off, though, we have the pre-show. Dun, dun, dun.
Need to get some sort of generic news sound effect.
Man, let's see if we can mention my inability at editing one more time.
Hey, look, no. That is, I'm more joking than anything.
I'd
like to point out I'm doing no editing, so I think you win.
But the editing I do is very minimal. Very minimal. It's just finding still photos and putting them into Windows Movie Maker or whatever.
It's good enough for us. Thank you.
So what I'm hearing is you're still better than me. Anyway.
Don't worry, Ed. You can still flex on me by the fact that you have Super Mega Baseball 3 and I have Super Mega Baseball 2. Anyways, James, do you want to start?
Sure. Are y'all excited for the greatest ever wrestling match? Or the greatest match ever? How exactly are they phrasing that? Regardless.
I should know because every single YouTube ad I have had has been that. It's kind of ridiculous.
I'm just happy they're taking the piss out of it. They being Edge and Orton.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it. Brian Zane mentioned this on his Raw review that it seems like part of it is just setting up a fall so that if it isn't the greatest wrestling match ever, they can be like, oh yeah, Edge didn't live up to the expectations, he failed.
It's very possible. Because other than that, I honestly can't see a reason why you would do that. You can't.
Especially when on the Friday before you have your show. So 2 days before you have your show, you put AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan on your on, and then you're gonna say that a match between two older guys is gonna be the greatest wrestling match ever.
And let's be clear, Orton and Edge are very good. They are clearly capable of putting on a very good wrestling match.
Yes,
However,
and
I don't care if you have the two greatest wrestlers in the world. Don't sell a match as the greatest wrestling match ever before it's happened, because that is a stupid risk. The odds of that actually succeeding are really, really low, and the payoff isn't really that high because most people aren't actually going to believe it.
Well, like the last time that a match was advertised as having the possibility of being the greatest match of all time was Okada Omega in which man, I get my dates
But
confused.
here's the thing, key difference. This could be the greatest match of all time. This is going to be the greatest match of all time.
Yes.
Tiny thing makes a huge difference.
Both that and the fact that this was the fourth match. This was the fourth match in a long, drawn out feud that had been going on for like 2 years, and also featured two of the best in the world at their peak, and like legendary length title reign.
Yeah. But like I would genuinely say if they did with this Orton Edge thing, then they said this could be the greatest match ever, I'd probably still roll my eyes, but I'd be like, yeah, all right, fine. Like I would have let that go. But I was like, this is too ridiculous.
But also on the show is Braun Strowman versus Miz and Morrison for the Blue Universal Championship. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre.
Hold on, just Braun Strowman?
Yes, Braun Strowman versus both Miz and Morrison.
I'm not being a dick. I haven't been watching Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, that's a handicap match. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. How that's gonna work out?
Which is in direct contradiction to like a few years ago, where there was literally a storyline about how he wanted to fight for the tag titles alone, and they wouldn't let him. But now they are doing that anyway.
Wrestling doesn't make sense, and WWE especially doesn't make sense.
Well, WWE just assumes people don't have memories.
That too.
Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, which has honestly kind of been a good build, kind of. I've liked, besides the fact that Lana is still for some reason involved in this story. Why? But
because for Bobby.
Yeah. But Bobby Lashley, I've liked MVP as his manager. There's been some kind of cool build, and Drew McIntyre still looks dominant, which is all I need in life.
Does it annoy you as much as it annoyed me how he says McIntyre?
Who says McIntyre?
Austin.
That's fine.
I thought I said McIntyre just now.
You're saying McIntyre, not McIntyre.
Yeah, it works.
I mean, I don't even know why I'm saying that in the first place, because to me, he will always be Drew Galloway. But
fair enough.
Next week, anyway.
Yeah, hint, hint. Also, we have the match that's going to root everyone's night: Asuka versus Nia Jax. I feel like they're going to put Nia over. I would hate to see it happen, but we know how WWE, whenever there's like a perfect lineup of champions, like the world's champions right now, they just find a way to screw it up. And I think it's going to be giving the title to Nia Jax after Asuka just won.
Sadly, I could see that happening. I hope that isn't the case. I want Asuka to have a proper reign.
It'll be that,
but knowing WWE, like it's like, oh, this is too perfect. We should fuck with it.
it'll be that, or it'll be a DQ finish leading the Nia winning at Extreme Rules.
Moving on to those options.
Moving on to equally offensive things, but in a different way, we have Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus.
Oh, geez, I've heard about this.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy, like in a segment that was rumored, like I think a week, like almost a week out. I think it was leaked on Monday or Tuesday. Um, Jeff Hardy Jeff Hardy threw his urine sample that Sheamus was demanding because this storyline is horrible and based off of real life. I mean,
Again, for like the 5th time in Jeff Hardy's career, maybe more.
yeah, but he threw his piss at Sheamus. Some great booking by Bruce Pritchard, which we will get to. I think Ed touched on this, but I think the problem with this storyline is neither the workers doing it nor even the fact that it's based on real life. I mean, I think the proximity to real life is a bit disturbing, like how 8 months ago he was taken out of DUI, but real life being involved in wrestling stories is going to happen, and I mean, it frankly sometimes it's better. I think maybe though, like the worst element of it has been the booking. Like, God, I feel for Sheamus after all the shitty storylines he's been handed since he returned on SmackDown, first feuding with Shorty G and being another heel to just hate short people for no reason, and then now this. Yikes.
Yeah, I kind of want him to be IC champ, to be honest. He needs that to complete the Grand Slam, so just, give it to him.
As long as it gets him out of being like booked in storylines like this, I'm all for it. We have Sasha Banks and Bayley versus the Iconics versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I mean, I don't really know where they're gonna take Bayley from this point in terms of like singles defenses. So I can definitely see the turn happening here because like since the titles are like just it seems like the titles have been moved to them just as props, and I would love to see them on the Iconics instead.
I kind of just want him to be swapped back to either of the other 2 teams that aren't champions, just so we can finally get Sasha and Bayley going, and just let Bliss and Cross and the Iconics actually do something with the titles.
Plus, we don't need this storyline to be dragged out any longer. We all know, like at least people who, at least non-casual fans, kind of know the gist of the storyline, and I think even casual fans can understand what's going on. So.
I mean, I quite like the Iconics. They're not like the greatest wrestlers ever, but they're entertaining in their weird kind of personality.
I mean, that could also be said for Applesauce as well.
Yeah, like the Iconics have this weird kind of. They're simultaneously clumsy and graceful in a way that's just kind of great. And I mean, like style. Like I think they're deliberately going for that in their performance.
Those 2 teams have been very entertaining when they've been bickering with each other and just wrestling with each other those last couple of weeks. So I would like to see more of it.
And lastly, we have Apollo Crews versus Andrade for the United States Championship, which I mean, I think it'll be good. I kind of want to see Andrade out of the U.S. title picture. Specifically, I would like to see him lose this match and then go on to a feud with Drew Galloway because that would make sense. It would honestly write itself so perfectly.
Yeah, I'm definitely on board with that. I think maybe have a small feud in the middle with somebody else, just so he doesn't go immediately from losing one belt to challenging for the higher belt. But yeah, I like that idea as well.
Same.
In case you forgot, it's one of the more forgettable eras in NXT. Drew McIntyre, or whatever his name is, won the title off of Bobby Roode at TakeOver Brooklyn 3. He defended it once on NXT TV, and then he lost it to Andrade at TakeOver War Games 1. And and that was because he had an injury. He suffered an injury was the shoot reason for it, but in kayfabe he just lost it. So I think it would be an interesting feud to revisit on the main roster, and this time Drew Drew's champion again, and Andrade could say like I've conquered you before, and Drew can say I'm a different guy. Whatever. I think it'll be a good match.
And it was a great match too between the two at the War Games, so it'll be great to see it again.
Yeah. Anyways, now that we've spent a bit too much time on going over Backlash,
we discussed the greatest wrestling match ever. After this news, we're going to go on to the greatest wrestling podcast ever. I couldn't say it with a straight face.
What podcast is this? Sorry,
Is it after the news?
Oh, yeah, sure. Keep telling yourself that, James.
Well, I will point out I couldn't say it with a straight face.
I don't know, James. You want to take this next one? I know you introed the last one, but I mean we all talked for it.
Sure.
Starting at the top.
All right, sure. I thought we just picked them.
Oh, it's up to you.
I'm fine with going from the top. Yeah, so we have a new Intercontinental Champion in AJ Styles. This is actually news to me because, like I said, I haven't been watching the show.
That greatest match between Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles was for the IC title on SmackDown, which Styles won. And what a fabulous match that was. Kind of interesting Styles won, but both are good choices, so not too much to complain there.
Yeah, and this has kind of made me come to a realization because we look at them like that match delivered very well. It was a very good match, very enjoyable. And then you look at that compared to a match in feud like AJ Styles versus Nakamura from 2018. Yeah, 2018. And that kind of disappointed because it was in the main event, and like there needed to be some sort of story, and they came up with the stupidest story you could. Not, I mean, it was a good enough story. It just felt very like low for what the two men were capable from being. James's pick for the best single finisher in anything ever. That's what the yeah. But anyway, this gave me the conclusion that if you want like keep these guys being in the mid card of WWE is just perfect for me. Just have AJ Styles have the title and go up against guys like Nakamura and Cesaro and just keep them in the mid card. Like I know main event is where all the money's at and where people like to see people and say like oh blah 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 should get a main event push like Cesaro. But I also think that if they're in the main event, they're just gonna end up in shitty storylines.
Yeah, I can see that. Quick message to AJ now that he's champion of all the continents. I know he's not listening, but at the off chance, quick message AJ. Now that you're champion of all the continents, which by the way are on this oblate spheroid roundish Earth, it's not flat. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there. Couldn't
Man, James shoots hard on AJ Styles.
I don't even know if he's actually a flat earther. I just know that's a thing people say.
Well, according to Randy Orton, it's true. Although he confirmed it on the Bump. I was reading a Squared Circle story. He confirmed on the Bump podcast that AJ Styles is a flat earther.
I mean, if nothing else, we know he considers it because it. Like I think Stone Cold asked him on the fucking podcast. He's like, I'm not. He said something to the effect of like, I'm not really sure, but look into that. There's like some chefs there. It's like, no, there isn't, AJ. There's not.
Yeah, there's also the talking smack. this Talking Smack interview with him where D-Bry punked him out about it. But yeah, AJ Styles, being a good representative of the spherical continents.
Spherical globe is what you meant.
Come on, AJ, watch some Simon. Anyway.
In very pressing and surprising creative news, Paul Heyman was relieved of his position as Raw's executive director, I think was the term. This happened. He'd had that position about a year ago when it was him and Eric Bischoff got appointed into these new roles, and everyone was like, "Oh, this should be interesting. Like maybe Raw and SmackDown will be watchable again." And then Bischoff got fired 4 months later, and now Heyman is out. But both creative teams have been put into one giant creative team for both brands, led by Mr. Bruce Pritchard. And so now he's one of the most powerful executives at the company. I think Paul Heyman was doing a good enough job with Raw. I mean, there were certainly some things that could have been improved on, but I think I liked how he was pushing young talent. Apparently, as Heyman's being pushed out, he was sorry, lost my train of thought. But Heyman was more recently having to both appease before he wasn't having to worry about Vince because he was busy with something else or whatever. But recently he's been having to appease Vince because rewrites have been happening all the way up to the show itself. just another moment where Vince has whatever. It's a lot.
I have no idea what they're doing creative. This is about the third change of creative in about a year. What in the world are they doing?
I mean, a lot of people have opinions on Heyman, but one thing that I don't think can be denied, the man can make someone a star. He knows how to look at someone and say, okay, you have these problems, but we can hide them by doing this. You're good at this. He made a bunch of people love the Sandman, despite the fact that he's kind of a god-awful wrestler.
And a
because
bit of a
they
shitty
leaned into his strengths, yeah, a bit. But it's just let's just lean into your strengths. Oh, you're a bit sloppy? Well, fuck it. You're going to drink 6 beers and you go down to the ring anyway. And it won't matter that you're sloppy. They'll expect that and they'll just love you.
I mean, if I can think of a recent example that he did on Raw, I think Apollo Crews would be a great example. I'm not sure how much he had to do with that, but what they've been doing with him is just having him put on really. It's been slow, but they've been just letting him go all out in the ring and giving him a bit of time off screen to try and flesh something out, but mostly just focusing on him being a really good in-ring performer. And I think that's kind of worked. He feels like a guy who's properly good now, and he's the U.S. champion, and he's someone you can root for. It's because he's really good in the ring.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think more than Heyman being out, it's the fact that Pritchard is in. I haven't particularly liked the booking on SmackDown as he's written it. The stuff with say Eric Rowan hasn't been very good, or some other stuff. But overall, I'm not very hopeful for the future of Raw and SmackDown. Not that I was before, but
WWE at this point, I don't know, if you're a board game geek like me, WWE is the monopoly of wrestling. It's the big one that everyone's heard of, but it's far from the best thing available. Anyway.
It has very talented wrestlers, though, that you want to see. It's just a shame they are stifled, to put it mildly, where they're working.
Yeah, very true.
Speaking of someone who was stifled, unless someone has anything else to point out.
If we're gonna make comparisons of WWE to a board game, I would say they're more like Dominion, which is a deck building game, which has good mechanics, but has the most dry presentation you could possibly imagine, and for that reason, I do not like it one bit. Random, but okay. Go ahead, Ed. I don't know.
So apparently Styles wanted off of Raw because of an issue with Heyman backstage. They apparently got into a scuffle. He requested to be moved to SmackDown. And he might have also blamed Heyman for OC actually being dropped from the company.
Well, to be fair, I'm not sure about the OC thing because, like, honestly, like, they weren't really doing much besides just being like AJ's lackeys, and if they're gonna be gone from the company, I think I honestly like it sucks monetarily, and like losing a job is definitely not something that isn't good ever. But like, I'm personally, I'm excited to try and see them like try and do something a bit more lively with their career.
It is just overall a shame to hear that two great wrestling minds are very unhappy with each other. I figured they might be able to work a little bit better, but apparently not. I just hope Styles has more luck on SmackDown than he was on Raw, apparently, according to his own personal feelings.
I don't know. He was in a one-on-one feud with the Undertaker.
Maybe he's going to be in a tag match, player.
Holla holla. That was Teddy Long. Teddy Long for any of you.
All right.
So far the episode is that was Teddy Long. The is important.
Holla holla, playa.
Is that we're going? Just the best bad joke of the night. Because
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna call it. I'm trying to come up with a King of the Ring pun, but I don't have anything. I think that's very on brand for us. Anyway, let's try and get out of the hell that is the pre-show. By finally discussing some wrestling we actually like. AEW. They had a good show. They had a good show this week. More build to Fyter Fest or Fyter Fest. More important, but we wanted to talk a little bit about the possibility of a Cody heel turn. I think this has kind of been somewhat built to since first off his first promo with the TNT title was like half face, half heel, like him comparing himself to Tom Brady and saying he wasn't the first guy called when he's an executive vice president of the company. So he was like the fourth guy called. That's still a big deal. I don't know.
Tom Brady a heel thing.
Yeah, and then after that he had two back-to-back matches against Jungle Boy and Mark Quinn, respectively. And in both those matches, he was pretty brutal and almost a heel.
The last match, he was very brutal and going after Mark Quinn's injured leg the entire match and showing zero remorse to it. He did celebrate with both gentlemen at the end, shaking their hands and whatnot. And I think he helped out Mark Quinn and everyone else beating down. So he helped in a beatdown at the end of the Mark Quinn match. I know that.
Yeah, Cody's been just being very obnoxious, and I mean, I don't think a lot of fans even like are enjoying a lot of the stuff with Cody right now. But I feel like it's kind of it feels like it's some, or at least I hope it'll be have a point to it, and like that Cody will eventually turn heel. I mean, there's plenty of signs for this, like the fact that Cody is a bit of a natural heel. Like I've liked his heel stuff a lot more than his face stuff. Um, also the
So
fact.
I
Go
didn't.
ahead.
No. Finish your thought. You
Um,
paused there, and I thought you were done. That's on me.
I was gonna just say that when someone has a makes a deal that they can't ever fight for a title ever again, according to them, and like it's a good opportunity to like if they're a heel like and go back on their promise. That's a great way to get heat. I don't know.
I think that's a little too soon for that option, though. Him challenging for the world title.
Yeah, I think it's too soon for the Cody heel turn, but I do want it to happen at some point. And I do understand, and you're not the only person having that reading of seeing him Memorial. I just view it as the story is that this is supposed to be a sport where you're supposed to win, the and the sport is fighting each other, and the guy's got a hurt leg. Well, obviously, I'm going to attack the fucking leg. I don't think that necessarily makes someone a dick for doing so.
Yeah.
My head.
Yeah. I don't.
Might be planting the seeds a bit for down the line, but I do want it to be a fair bit down the line when it happens.
Yeah, I don't think that like the heel turn is happening anytime soon. Um, like I can, it just feels like they're starting to incorporate something like that into their character. Like it seems like Cody isn't purely just like white meat baby face and anymore. Like he's a bit more obnoxious.
I mean, my general view on the Cody character, at least since he's left WWE, is that, and maybe to some degree while he was in WWE, is that Cody Rhodes is not a nice guy. He's kind of a dick in general, and he's kind of massively obsessed with his legacy and making a big deal out of himself. The key thing about right now with him in AEW is his legacy is directly tied to the success of AEW, which means that Cody's legacy is something we kind of all want to cheer for right now. And
Yeah,
that's what makes him a good guy. But I think the character's still kind of a bit of a dick. Like
He does have
even
a very
in the
personal
beginning
thing.
of AEW, like we still had Brandy interfering in matches.
He has
Like
a very punchable face. I mean, he just looks like that smarmy douche from high school.
truth be
Marco,
told, I think we could see the vast majority of the elite eventually turn heel.
I
yeah,
think
like
only maybe Kenny would not. I think.
You even could with Kenny though, because Kenny's also an obsessive nut job at times.
yeah, they're all good. I think they all play well as heels. Like I think the one person I don't want to see them turn heel is Hangman, just because I think his character is so much more interesting when he isn't a bad guy. Like especially with the angle they're going now, if the big result of it is a heel turn, I wouldn't be for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you there, at least for now.
I don't know how you make the alcoholic a full blown heel. Maybe a tweener because he's unfortunately with his demons, but I don't know how you portray that as full blown heel. Not unless you let the story ride out for 5 years and he's still an alcoholic, then in which case, go for it.
Just don't take the WWE path.
Yeah, because like if you look at the Elite Relay, like Cody is this legacy obsessive motherfucker. Kenny is in this like constant identity crisis while simultaneously being somewhat obsessed with being the best wrestler ever, which is honestly kind of similar to Cody, but he kind of has a different approach. But a lot of the same issues when you look at it. The Young Bucks are fucking smug as hell, even as baby faces.
Yeah, they literally called themselves the best tag team in the world, right to the FTR space. So, yeah, on the nose, say on that one.
Like I do think eventually we'll see at least most of these characters turn, and it'll be interesting.
I think if we're going to place bets on who's the first ones to turn, it feel like right now it's the Young Bucks. They just look like they're headed straight for it. Just right
See,
there.
I'd like to see them remain as a unit, except for maybe Hangman. They don't necessarily have to turn at once, but just don't turn on each other. I think
That's a tightrope and a half to walk.
Yeah, it is. But it could be very interesting. And that was fantasy booking with James.
I do have faith that they could try to pull that off. I at least have more trust in them to do it without nitpicking the entire way. At least not actively nitpicking. We might still nitpick here. Can't speak.
Yeah.
Well, this has been the dark match
Pre-show.
pre-show. This has been the pre-show.
Guard subject to change.
Maybe the longest pre-show we've ever done.
Yeah, this is WWE length pre-show right here, minus an hour.
We'll get back to talking about pre-show specifically with the mid-card. But first, we have the opener, which is brought to us by Ed.
I have very bad timing when I'm eating my snacks.
Why are you even eating snacks, Ed? That's unprofessional.
We're watching wrestling. I need my popcorn while we're eating, or my crackers, as it is tonight.
We are the peak of professionalism, I'll have you know.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of in brand, and keep doing it.
Good. I planned on it. You wonder why I have to take so many pee breaks. It's because I'm eating while we're watching.
Because eating makes you pee, as we all know. Anyway.
Listen, I have Crohn's, so that's not that inaccurate.
Okay, now I'm an asshole. Anyway.
Well,
that didn't really happen now, but you see my point.
Ed, you had something to say.
Yes, the following match is scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
Well, just so we can get rid of that terrible taste in the mouth, we're going back to Money in the Bank 2013 to witness Kaitlyn versus AJ Lee for the Divas Championship, with AJ as the champion. This match was originally on YouTube, but when I went to open it today, about 50 minutes ago, just 10 minutes before we started, the match was privatized, so I had to find it on the network. So, yay! The match is starting at 58 minutes, 15 seconds in. Use the jump shot shortcut if you need to.
That's 48:15, by the way.
Yes, whatever I didn't say, but James said.
He said 58, regardless.
Rewind what I said 10 minutes. Yep. I can't speak if we're all ready.
Yep.
Yeah, it should be my first time watching a Divas match. So,
well, this is.
It is a Divas match.
It is, but would you consider this one of the better Divas matches for the two wrestlers involved?
I don't remember specifically, but I imagine this was a good match.
I mean, I know AJ was given the most mic time out of any Diva. And this was a pretty great rivalry. But let's just see how it goes.
And the point is that it is for the Divas Championship. Like, it can still be.
I was not disputing that. I was just contemplating whether it was one of the better ones to watch to show you the Divas division. Anyway, in 3, 2, 1, go.
That's not it. Oh, I forgot Big E was her bodyguard.
Yes.
Oh, right. Because this was in 2013, which means the Raw after WrestleMania was when Ziggler cashed in, and he was accompanied by AJ. He was with AJ and Big E at this time.
Yep.
I do not like that the champion came out first.
Yeah, WWE does that a lot. trying to figure out what Layla had to do with anything.
I do not remember.
Fair enough.
But considering she's supposed to be in a bad mood with AJ, she looks pretty happy when AJ's the one who looks pissed and scared.
Hey, there's our man Teddy Long.
Holla holla. You know how you can tell Kaitlyn's not going to win? They're not showing us her entrance. They're showing us what happened last Friday.
Ow.
That was brutal.
I will say AJ sells Kaitlyn's spear very well.
Yes, that was good.
I'm confused. What's up with this whole AJ Lee being crazy thing?
Oh, that's her entire gimmick. She's just
Oh,
Yeah, she was
very
nuts.
insane.
Okay, cool. So she was Nikki Cross before Nikki Cross was Nikki Cross?
She's kind of a different
Yeah.
play of crazy. Different style of crazy, but yeah.
She's the more obsessive girlfriend type of crazy. She kissed Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Kane, Dolph Ziggler, probably a few more.
Good to know.
Kaitlyn obviously uses the spear as a finisher. AJ does a Black Widow octopus hold. Kind of what I expected so far. Just the larger woman just manhandling the tinier one. And as I say that,
In the post. Into the very green ring post.
right on the injured arm.
Gosh.
Okay, apparently that's Layla's role. Friend of Kaitlyn and her support.
Fair enough. Well, think about it. In this situation, would you rather have Big E or Layla in your corner?
Big E.
No, the answer is Layla, because this is WWE. The man can't do anything to the woman.
I mean, he held her back at the.
I know. I just had to be an asshole. So I had the opportunity to be a smart ass, that's all.
He can still get in their way. He's still a big brick wall.
Yes, he is.
No offense to Big E, he could literally squish my head in his arms. He's just a very large dude.
He's also great moral support, although we didn't know that yet.
I don't know how much of moral support Big E can give to AJ Lee. She's very hard to reason with.
Yeah, I mean, I love Big E, and he's the serious answer here. I had to take a shot at WWE's fear of intergender shit.
I will say this version of Big E compared to what he is now is very different.
Yeah, that is true.
This has been a pretty good match so far.
I gotta say, after the last month, all I watched really is indie stuff with you guys and stuff from NXT and AEW. God, I hate main roster commentary.
Yeah, and JBL's particularly annoying, I find.
He can be good. He can also be shit.
Yeah. Was this heel Michael Cole era? It doesn't sound like it.
No,
Okay, that's good.
this is after May 2029, I believe.
Yeah.
That's
Because
what-
people hate on Michael Cole. That's because of heel Michael Cole. Regular Michael Cole's actually not that bad.
Yeah, Michael Cole's only bad when Vince McMahon's in his ears.
Yeah, that is true. He will just scream all the buzzwords.
Bit of an interesting aesthetic with the weird dark green posts along with the
Yeah.
borders.
Yeah, I quite like it actually.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say that this is probably not a great commentary team. You've got
Yeah. By the way,
King.
the sell off that shoulder block was great.
AJ's a very good seller.
You got PG era King, JBL, and Michael Cole. Not a great setup lineup.
Oh. Come on, who's gonna win the butterfly?
Yeah, that title is complete shit.
It's been a pretty good match though.
Very good match.
This is
Okay,
see.
that's why you want E. All right, you're right.
Yeah, you do. Fair.
Look, good storytelling.
Just a kick to the arm. Looking for the Black Widow.
Sunset.
Jesus.
That was a good hold. For a short match, that was a very good story.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good match.
Yeah. Good. Ooh, that expression. A good showing from AJ Lee on her second appearance in the podcast.
Yeah, AJ is great. This was I think a very long reign, at least for the time, that ended with the debut of Paige.
Yeah, that would reign up in for 296 days roughly. And yes, Paige's debut did end it.
Yep. certainly a good match.
Very, absolutely.
100% agreed.
I can't say I'm particular. I'll say this much. It certainly makes me more interested to watch Divas matches from this era, specifically her title reign. I mean, I've pretty much heard only bad things about the Divas division, especially
Well, this was late Divas division when it was pretty close to turning into the women's division. The wrestling was getting better around this time.
Yeah, that was. AJ was among the last few champions.
So there's that.
Yeah, it was her, Paige, her again, Paige again, her, Nikki Bella, then Charlotte Flair. Those were the last few champions of the Divas title.
So this was as things were getting better.
Yes.
Cool. Well then, thanks for the opener, James.
God damn it, Austin.
It was me, Austin. It was Ed all along. Anyway.
Man, I'm really coming off like an a-hole.
That's about the 5th time you confused me with James.
I promise you, it isn't intentional. It's just clumsiness.
No worries. It's
You're fine.
all
I'm just
audio. It's easy to screw up when it's all audio and you're not seeing faces and shit.
I don't know. I just know you as the one guy who I just envision you as the Dark Order guy and Butters from South Park. That's James's and
Which would be our avatars on Discord, by the way.
on Discord. That's what I was getting to that, okay, James? I wasn't just gonna leave that out there.
It's ironic because Butters usually isn't my avatar for most things. It's usually the Fire Nation logo. But yeah, I use Butters for Discord for some reason. Well, actually, the reason was Classic WoW, but yeah.
For the record, my profile pic is a really cool art of Darby Allin. So
Yeah, I'm the only one without a wrestling themed avatar.
I like it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably change mine at one point. I change my stuff on occasion.
Anyways, the following match is set for one fall.
One fall.
Ed once again has bad timing eating.
James, I'm starting to think that you're the problem here.
Yeah, probably.
Anyways, this is a match from the kickoff show of WrestleMania 33 between Neville and Austin Aries for the Cruiserweight title. Before we get to the match, I'd like to cast your minds back to, I think March of 2017, which is when I first got into wrestling. I watched I was just minding my own business, watching YouTube videos, when I noticed that two of the people I was subscribed to had uploaded wrestling related content. And I was a bit interested, so I watched those two videos, and then I started watching more wrestling videos, and then I started watching clips of Sting, like WWE Sting and The Undertaker, and I started getting into wrestling. This was on the same weekend as Fastlane 2017, which was happening close to my house. I'm not going to tell you where I live, but it was nearby. And I was so sad that I couldn't go to Fastlane 2017. That's a joke because Fastlane 2017 was very shit. Very, very shit. Including.
So what I'm hearing is if you went to this show, you may have not become a wrestling fan.
Well, that's debatable. I waited a bit to get the WWE Network. My first show that I watched under the WWE Network was my first wrestling show I watched properly was Money in the Bank 2017. So that wasn't a particularly good one. I mean, in general, I was getting into wrestling in 2017. Which is the reason why I love tag team matches and hate main event stuff because main event 2017 was kind of shit.
Fair enough. I did just look up Fastlane again, 2017 one, and I saw the main event, and I audibly my heart just
oh, that happened.
Yeah,
I love Kevin Owens and seeing his Universal Championship reign, and like that.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to do with eventually, if you guys are open to it, is just doing retrospectives of different wrestling years, like going through all the pay-per-views of WWE and like maybe one or two other competitors and just talking about it. That would be fun. But anyways, that's a long enough tangent.
Also, last tangent point, the Money in the Bank 2017 poster is beautiful.
Yeah, that was the New Day one, right?
Yes. That's a reference to me shitting than the last Money in the Bank poster.
Oh yeah, that one.
That one.
Anyways, the one of two highlights, the other being the New Day and the New Day and the Usos having a feud. In general, like the SmackDown Tag Division was where it was at in 2017. But besides that, the other highlight of 2017 for me was a feud between Neville and Austin Aries. This went, I think, 3 matches. One at Backlash. They had I don't think they had what they might have had one at Money in the Bank. I don't think so. But the main matches were on Payback, and then at Extreme Rules they had like a submission match. But this is the one from WrestleMania 33. They opened up the show, and we're starting at 42:55 at the in the WrestleMania 33 kickoff. The video that was uploaded to YouTube. So,
as always, links in the description.
Yes.
Yep. We'll be starting in 3, 2, 1.
For an instrumental theme, this is quite strong.
Very.
Yeah, I like Austin Aries' theme. I was a big fan of Aries, like partially because of that, because he's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is near where I live. If you couldn't pick up on that from Fastlane 2017 mention.
I will say, walking down the stage like that backwards scares the absolute piss out of me. I don't have the balance or the legs to pull that off.
Speaking of stage, WrestleMania 33 had a great stage.
Absolutely.
And in general, I love the aesthetic here. I don't think WWE has really matched it for a WrestleMania since this.
I mean, I'm disappointed we never got to see a proper pirate WrestleMania set, but I do enjoy the giant ring above the ring. That's pretty great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I mean, there's also like an actual there's like a roller coaster set up in the back. In general,
it's a lighting setup designed to look like a roller coaster, but yeah, it is pretty great.
And also there's
good enough.
Also, the entire ramp it's not only is it super long, it's also all LEDs. I remember that was really cool during Naomi's entrance was really good.
Yeah.
And stuff. The best era of Neville.
Absolutely.
Are we not counting Pac?
No, we're counting Neville.
No, we're talking about Neville.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll give you that.
Like Pac is really good.
This is basically Pac but PG.
Yeah.
he was booked strong as hell.
I mean, they just did not lose a one-on-one since October.
Yeah, watch that man and watch him carry that crown.
Yeah, he would continue. He would continue with that until he lost to fucking Enzo and More.
That's somebody that was super into the whole cruiserweight thing at the time, as I was at the time as well. How painful was that?
Absolutely.
It was pretty bad. To be honest, there was an era where I thought heel Enzo Amore was really good. And that was when he couldn't talk. I thought it was absolutely genius to take Enzo Amore, and he had like a sore throat thing or something. And so Drew Gulak had to talk for him. And he had this whole posse and everything. I thought it was brilliant, honestly. Like it's the one way to make him a heel is to just not have him talk, and it worked kind of. And then they just stopped doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it could have worked if they didn't make the whole show about it.
Yeah,
and the whole show became about Enzo, who kind of doesn't really fit in with what the show really was.
Yeah.
Also, this was back in the time of WWE pointlessly branding every cruiserweight match by putting purple everywhere.
They even have purple on the canvas, too.
I like the color purple. It just... like, for the people that weren't really giving the cruiserweights a chance, this literally gives them a visual cue to stop paying attention. Like, it's a bad idea.
It's unfortunate because the cruiserweights are generally the best wrestlers on the roster.
Yeah.
They were never given really the best storylines, but bell to bell, you couldn't compete with them.
Oh, yeah. I stand by. It's probably still true. 205 Live is among the best wrestling nobody watches.
Yeah. I would totally agree with that. Bit of an interesting build for this match. So I think back in January or February, I wasn't watching wrestling back then, but back then he injured Austin Aries' eye, and so then Austin Aries was on commentary for 205 Live for about a month or two. Then he had an interview segment with Neville where he was wearing sunglasses, and like Neville just starts ragging on him and stuff. Takes off the sunglasses. Austin Aries takes off the sunglasses and like then whacks him with the microphone. Thought it was a pretty cool segment. But
that is good. Yeah, I think Aries got the eye injury actually in a match with Shinsuke. He took a hard knee to the face, and his eye just
Good way to incorporate an actual injury into a storyline, though.
Yeah. I set it up well. And he did well on commentary for that stint as well.
It's very fast paced, as we expect. Ow.
Oh, nice.
And this would be both, unless Neville was in WrestleMania 32, I believe this would be both men's only WrestleMania match.
I mean, it's the pre-show. Does it even count?
Depends on what you're trying to count it for.
I mean, considering the crowd that this is for a championship and that they would go on to continue their feud on the main, they would be on the main show for like Extreme Rules and Payback, I think.
Yeah. And to be fair, that wasn't me trying to shit on Neville and Austin. That was me giving WWE shit for putting this on the pre-show.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's even worse because the six-pack challenge for the SmackDown Women's title was about 6 minutes on the main show.
Yeah, but they always got to get our entrance in front of our home crowd.
Yeah, they did get her win back.
I mean, I don't blame them for putting it on here. I think it could have got on later in the pre-show, like there was also Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose. I mean, that's not a match I was particularly excited for.
No, but this definitely gets the crowd hyped. I guess we have a commercial.
Considering the pre-show is one big extended commercial, did they need to put one in the middle of the match?
Yeah, probably.
Really, why? Is this...
Also, this is a commercial for the four-way elimination match for the Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah.
This does remind me that the opening graphic for WrestleMania 33 was freaking brilliant, in my opinion. It was very good.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Oh, more commercials. I will say this is a wonderfully cheesy ad. I do enjoy this ad.
Challenge accepted. That's face.
Oh, that was some enjoyable cheese.
How many Hulk Hogan fans do you need in the hard camp side? Jeez.
Ignore the Hogan fans.
This was before he was back in the company too.
Missed the Austin Aries bad bump right there for a cheese commercial. Thanks.
They showed it to us. Whatever. It's super stupid. But...
It's like, I get why it sometimes happens on TV. It's kind of annoying. I wish they would not do it during matches, but like, I can at least sort of get it. When it's a thing, you're airing yourself and are choosing where the ads go. Fuck off.
Yeah, seriously. Over or under, does Neville use the red arrow here in this match, or does he end it with the Saturn rings?
Oh,
that wasn't the red arrow either.
No.
That was nothing in the ropes.
I don't even know what sort of rotation you got on that, but holy shit, Neville.
He is the man the gravity forgot.
Not at this point.
It was a previous nickname, therefore it can still apply.
Also, that weird spinning elbow thing is actually kind of cool, but super dorky, and I love it.
Fits with Austin Aries. I mean, he wasn't dorky; he was more cocky.
Yeah, but that one, oh my fucking god!
Right on the ass. Yeah.
I said that, but more PG. Risk and D. What are you doing, Aries? Okay, that was not bad.
And followed up by a suicide dive. Nice.
That was bottom rope too. Holy god.
But yeah, because this was early in my watching of professional wrestling, I don't think I ever cheered for someone as hard as I don't think I ever wanted someone to win as much as I wanted Austin Aries to win, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Interesting. You picked a good feud to get into. I'll give you that.
Absolutely.
Well, I was watching all of the stuff. Like I was watching two pay-per-views a month.
Oh, you're saying you were watching everything, huh? Were you watching Main Event? Were you watching Superstars?
Thanks.
Because nobody fucking watches that shit.
I'm surprised they still run
there's
it.
sometimes good stuff on there too. That's just not good. They don't give anybody really a reason to watch it, despite the fact that there is occasionally some good wrestling on there.
You know, I just noticed there's a WrestleMania Cruiserweight logo behind them. And that was probably only on those two screens that no one was looking at for the entirety of this match.
Ah, fun. Yeah, sure enough.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they even made a purple WrestleMania logo. Like, what? And it actually looks really cool, because purple looks cool, but it doesn't help sell them. Like,
Yeah, it's like selling the women's revolution as the women's revolution. Just let them fucking wrestle.
That was a pretty cool sequence.
Absolutely.
oh yeah,
Neville flipping off the turnbuckle and Austin delivering the.
Even though you know that's coming, it's a planned spot, that still has to give you the fucking jitters. Knowing you have to backflip successfully, then immediately take a drop kick to the face. And then flip to sell the drop kick.
Oh, he is Neville, king of the cruiserweights.
Yeah, but that's still a lot to go through your head. Like, okay, I gotta flip. Okay, drop kick. Gotta flip again. Kick out.
Kind of good call by Graves.
Graves is another commentator that's good without too much going on in his ear.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's definitely a color guy, but he's good at that.
Mark Phillips is a very good announcer, though.
Yeah, Cody isn't really on it. Or is he on SmackDown? I forget.
No, I think so. Holy
Is he on
shit. I don't think Phillips is on Raw either. I think Michael Cole and Corey Graves is on SmackDown. I have no idea who's on Raw.
Oh, I saw an elite hat.
Whoa, that's cool how his arm band fell off
Nice.
really quickly. Neville morphing into Brock Lesnar for this match, I guess.
More like Kurt Angle or Taz. There's a lot of suplex machines.
Brock Lesnar is here. Brock. Lesnar is here. Brock. Lesnar is here.
Really?
Only when he's contractually obligated. Anyway, I stole that from somewhere. Don't even remember where. It was...
You gotta say it's one of the most ironic names for a theme ever. Like mainly just because of its age now. The fact that that this guy's coming out to next big thing.
Well, that's because it's always been his theme, and when he was introduced, he was actually called the next big thing.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm getting at. It fit him then, but now it's very ironic.
Well, the song still suits him, just not the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song still makes you shit your pants if you're in the ring and you hear that music play.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite submission finishers. Oh.
Okay, I got the name slightly wrong. It's Rings of Saturn, not Saturn Rings.
Just gets forward out of him.
Nice.
We literally just watched Neville make an intelligent pratfall. That's what that was.
Yeah.
They gotta get away, but I'm gonna do it in the most ridiculous way imaginable.
He's the man.
It's great. I mean, no, I get it. He was selling at the same time. It makes sense.
Yeah,
but it's just funny.
It was really good.
And he just rolls back out.
More smart healing. For the record, that haircut looks so much better on Neville than it ever could on Baron Corbin.
Well,
for one thing, Neville doesn't have a giant bald spot.
Yeah. And then Neville actually has a beard.
Corbin has a beard too. What the hell are you talking about?
Did he when he had that hair though, or did he have a chin strap?
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, he didn't really have a beard at that time. He had a bit of hair on his face. Oh, super meta. That was even better than like a super rana because they were both standing on the top rope. Jesus. I completely forgot that he did a 450. This feud was so focused on submissions. His main one was there it is.
Last Chancery.
Yeah, there it is.
Very nice. I like that one. It's pretty nice. Oh, the eye poke.
Good. How is eye gouging not a DQ?
I don't know. Wrestling's in that weird spot where we have cheating that's big enough to get you DQ'd. Then there's like small cheating where the referee just tells you to stop.
Beautiful red arrow as per usual.
And he hit the red arrow. Was it Black Arrow at this point? Because he's heel? No, Red Arrow.
That's its name now. It's called the Black Arrow now. There's always a red arrow in WWE.
Okay. Although there is one guy in the front row that just has the most stonery shirt I've ever seen.
Yeah, Cookie Monster with a Rasta cap.
It is a tie-dye shirt with Cookie Monster and a Rasta cap, and it says Munchies.
That dude definitely smoked some before coming.
I know that's like the least important thing happening in this match, but I couldn't help but point it out.
Yeah, so this would go on to lead to a payback match where I think Austin would win by DQ, I believe. Like, Pac did some shit or whatever, or it was a count out or something. And then they would have a submissions match at Extreme Rules, and Neville would win that. Obviously, he would retain the title. But yeah, it was a very good feud, and like both men put a lot of effort in the ring.
Makes sense.
Yeah, nice look back to 3 years ago.
That was a very good pick, Austin. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent wrestling match.
Felt like a perfect mid-card match. All right.
Is it me? Is it my turn? Should I be talking?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. That could also be the title. Is it me? Is it my turn?
It's time for your main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your main event of the evening.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem. And it is scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
Yeah, I'm definitely the problem. Anyway.
I try to time it with you guys. I hold the button to make my mic active. Then I wait to see you guys start talking.
Oh, I think we're all awkward on it. I just couldn't help myself in that
The
moment.
thing is, we can do it properly. For some reason, we just can't.
And the match will be, as mentioned previously, the first Cody versus Darby Allin match from Fyter Fest 2019. And I won't say too much because I know that there's a bit of hype stuff before this, I believe. But what I will say is, going into this match, I believe this was the second AEW event ever. It was Darby Allin's debut. Most people didn't really know much about him. so we didn't know what to think of him, and we were all. I mean, you can disagree with me if you want, but I think pretty well everybody going into this was going, okay, well, Cody has the match coming up with him and Dustin versus the Bucks. Darby Allin, we know almost nothing about. So Cody's winning this. Yeah, okay. Like hopefully this Darby guy looks good, but Cody's winning this. Like that was the thought process going in, right?
Certainly, yeah.
Yes, but the end result will be a mystery until we get there.
I'm pretty sure the three of us know, but
Well, all three of us totally know.
Bit of a fun fact about Darby Allin. My first time hearing about him, I think it was upwards of like 9 months out from this. I was watching Jack the Jobber on Cultaholic. He does the week Wrestlers of the Week series, and I randomly decided to watch one of the episodes of that. And he mentioned that he has a new favorite wrestler named I don't remember what the name of it was, but he mentioned him having a skateboard and stuff. And I'm pretty sure he was talking about Darby Allin.
very possible.
Yeah, that sounds very Darby-ish.
Yeah. And then I think before watching this match, I knew about Darby Allin because I watched the Evolve little mini doc about Ethan Page versus Darby, and that being seeming absolutely brutal.
I believe it.
Yeah. So it should be good.
Without any further ado, and by the way, I believe this is the first AEW match we've watched in this.
I think so.
Yeah.
It makes sense considering AEW is still new. We've been picking a lot of older matches to showcase.
And in honor of it being the first AEW match, I will make a admittedly not really related to this match, but an AEW reference in my count-in. So without any further ado, Evil Uno, Angry Dose, Hateful Trace, go.
I was only prepared for that because you've done that to me multiple times.
I like his jacket for this match.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Which, in case any of you don't remember, that was part of Chris Jericho's Lexicon of Le Champion.
Yes, I remember. I recently rewatched that promo. Very funny.
Yes, it was. Also, this match that they're currently previewing, Dustin Rhodes versus Cody, was phenomenal.
Yes.
Still haven't watched it because I didn't order the pay-per-view.
Well, we gotta pull that one up.
Yeah, except
That's gonna be hard to do.
Well, it depends on how legit we want to be. I'm sure we could find it, but regardless.
Darby's stuff is always so good.
That it was.
I especially appreciate how it all has like a consistent like sort of look and theme to it.
Also, I remember seeing this promo the first time and just the edgelord in me being just completely in with this character. Like just
I am in as well.
Well, I mean, you guys know my profile pic now. You know how I feel about Darby Allin. One of the best themes in AEW.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I forgot he occasionally brings a body bag with his opponent's name on it.
Specifically, this one says Cody 1-1. And again, good Excalibur and Jim doing a good job at immediately establishing who this guy is.
That is very true. He did have some interviews beforehand, which helped on the road too, which was useful.
Yeah, but I'm a lazy AEW fan, and I only watch Dynamite and events.
Yeah, well, Road 2 was extra useful when Dynamite wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
It's still good now, but There's something great about the spray paint hard on his back. Like it really works to me.
Yeah, certainly does. All right, this is before he had the chandelier entrance thing.
I think it depends on if they can do it with the stage. This is one of the stages they can't.
Yeah, but did he even do the chandelier entrance until until Dynamite?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
His pants look like firefighter. Like he's a firefighter.
Not his best pants.
Fighter. Anyway.
Thanks. Definitely not the best attire for the night. That would go to the Elite had some really good Street Fighter gear. Like honestly, like one of the best entrances in AEW.
Quick thought with Cody's gear in general. Why does he always just have like a bit of like? It's like I must have like a special. This is the part of my pants where my dick is. Like, why does he have that?
Like, that's. I don't know.
It's his gimmick. I think Cody's gimmick is he's extra.
Joey Ryan.
Cody's gimmick. I was trying to say.
Episode title: Cody's dick. Anyway. Man, we should have gotten mentioned in about. We should have mentioned dicks in the opener. Then we could have named this something dick related. Wait a second. Oh my gosh, it's the security guy. He's on the far left. Security guy?
Security mustache guy. The guy who opened who used to open the velvet rope for private party. He's on the far left. The very far left. I don't think he's in the shot, but he was. You can see him there.
Oh yeah, I saw him.
In all black.
I saw him. Good catch.
He's the one AEW like member staff guy who I always notice. I feel like this is a match that we're all gonna look that is gonna be very well looked back on in terms of AEW history, especially considering how Darby is like the next big star of AEW, really. At least in terms
of MJF, I'd say.
Yeah, I was gonna say in terms of a face. Heel, definitely MJF. Totally.
I've said this multiple times. Darby Allin is the guy every teenage edgelord wishes they were.
Yeah, absolutely. The weird thing
he's got that sort of shit going on, but he's actually cool.
The weird thing is he's actually 27, Darby. Probably 26 here, but still. He's closer to 30 than he is teenager. That's what I'm going for.
But speaking from experience, yes, he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, I didn't say he's an edgy teen. I said he's the guy that the edgy teen wants to be.
Fair.
Hanging out with Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
I saw that on Twitter, and then when it dropped on Dynamite, I was like, oh yeah, that was definitely gonna happen. Just didn't expect it then.
You know, I will say, the new Tony Hawk game could use secret skaters. Anyway.
I'm totally with you on that.
If Darby is in there, I would really want the game.
But I mean, also Shrek 5 is slated to come out soon, so eventually, sometime in the future.
This is true.
That would be such a huge honor for Darby Allin, and they would mention AEW in there as well.
Yeah. Smart man.
Bullet Club got him Tekken, so anything's possible.
Very split crowd. I saw an Elite shirt.
I'd say it's 75.
Well, of course there's an Elite shirt. It's the second fucking AEW show.
I only pointed it out because we pointed out the Elite hat earlier.
Well, it's a bit more interesting at showing up in like Mania 2013. Of course it's going to be at Fyter Fest.
I'd say it's 75-25 in favor of Cody right now. Oh, was that a Jimmy Havoc shirt?
That's good shit.
Jimmy fucking Havoc?
Indeed.
I thought that was our shirt. I thought that was me and James' trick.
I stole it.
Good for you.
Right. It's been a big chant since well before
I know.
you've ever done this. How is it our shtick?
I know, but in terms of the podcast, we've never heard Ed say that, okay?
Usually repeat it, then actually start it.
Darby fucking Allin. Anyway.
Same ring to it, unfortunately.
That would be a tag team I would be very into.
Literally just be called the Edgelords by all the fans. Damn.
Again, he's a dick.
Yeah, stuff like that makes you realize, yeah, Cody could play a great heel.
He is a great heel.
Yeah.
Classic Cody.
Yeah. They just killed Darby.
You gotta look. Sorry.
No, I think I cut you off there, so sorry about that. But I was going to say that I think this was the moment where I realized, oh, Darby Allin's a crazy person.
You gotta love a guy who one of his signature spots is, again, Dick.
Yeah,
Dick.
He does that so often. He did that in the Mark Quinn match too.
Yeah. Anyways, you gotta love a guy who one of his signature spots is just flying through the ring post like he's a video game character.
His signature spot is trying to kill himself, really, in the least edgy, sad millennial way possible.
Wrestling. Anyway.
I think I remember. I think one of the quotes from Darby Allin. This isn't in character. I don't think this is in character. I don't know. Is I'm in the wrestling business so I can get out of it eventually. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he's talked about wanting to do other things. He wants to get into filmmaking and shit.
I'm happy to have him in wrestling as long as he is willing to do it.
He apparently went to culinary school for a year. I watched a Shot of Brandy episode with him.
Yeah, I caught about 10 minutes of that before I couldn't hear Darby, so I stopped watching it. But yeah,
he isn't a loud human being. That is
no, not at all. Although I don't think many of the earlier guests on Brandy's show actually were mic'd. That's actually an effective move right there. I don't know what you call that, but holy hell.
It's not one that you see that I've seen from Cody Allin.
I haven't seen that move often from anyone.
I'll say one thing. I think something I like the Tony Hawk segment on Dynamite this week. It felt a bit superfluous, but one thing I really liked about it was the way they showed like his Darby just failing at it a bunch, and it kind of built up his character like as like that's part of his training is doing skateboarding shit and like just biffing a whole bunch, and like that's why he can put up with so much in the ring.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, skateboarders are fucking brutal with what they can take and do.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what he's doing now, just biting the yeah, amen, GR.
Good call from JR.
And this was before the virus.
Oh, yeah, this was also the event put on by CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Thing.
Uh-huh.
Remember Alex Jabali? Anyway.
I mean, I imagine that I was thinking that they would want to bring back that partnership, and like if COVID hadn't happened, they might have but they might have done it again with CEO.
Yeah, there goes our sponsorship.
I mean, I think one of them mentioned that apparently Fighter Fest was going to be their UK debut.
Oh right, yeah.
So maybe they still would have done that partnership, but it would have been something else. Maybe.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, there's plenty of gamers who are wrestling. Yeah. Oh, good selling from Cody.
Holy shit! What the hell was that?
I believe it was like a flatliner, but through the ropes.
Just the positioning made it different, which is cool.
Yeah, watching this again, Cody pulls out a lot of plays more unique offense here.
I know people give Cody shit for being basically an average wrestler, but you don't need to be a great wrestler to have a good wrestling match. He's a great storyteller.
Yeah, it fits with both his character and the type of match. It fits with the matches he likes. It fits with what he's good at.
Yeah, I think Cody is a great storyteller. I do understand the criticism that's come up recently of a lot of his big matches have been very similar. I think there is a genuine case to that. But I think the TNT title thing will hopefully alleviate that problem from what we've seen so far.
I mean, it has worked so far, the TNT Open Challenge.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't intend to cut you off there. I'm just
No. I didn't have anything else to add after that. My thought went blank. I didn't know where I was going with that statement after that.
I mean, the idea that every week on Dynamite...
Sorry to cut you off, Austin.
The idea that every week on Dynamite you're going to get a match between a guy who really knows storytelling and usually someone who's a bit more high work rate, considering like the kind of matches we've seen so far. I think it's a good setup for maybe both like the younger guys to learn a bit of something from Cody.
Vice versa.
Yeah, and also just to put on good matches.
Now, is Cody actually going to be doing a match this week? Because I know he said he was going after Hager at Fyter Fest. Is he actually getting one this week too?
I would assume.
Yeah, it would make sense.
But
then what happens if Cody loses this match? Does the winner go on to fight Hager?
I would assume.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Yeah, Darby is just taking a shit ton of offense right now.
He has been taking a shit ton of offense for 90% of his match.
For a split second, I thought I talked about Cody's tattoo, and I was thinking, I thought he didn't have that yet.
I was wondering when that was going to get mentioned. He just looks so classy like he does now with just a tattoo of his father on his chest.
Look, it's his choice to get a tattoo. Is it? Absolutely. Am I fond of it? No, but like that's his call.
My only opinion on him getting that tattoo is at least put it in a better spot because you look very classy with just having the dream over the top of your chest. That's a reminder of your father and your legacy.
I mean,
it's his tattoo. Whatever the fuck he wants to do with it, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, there is an argument I heard that I thought was actually quite interesting, is the placement's kind of the whole point. He's bet everything on this. He's literally on this whole Nightmare Family thing, on who he is, He's literally put his neck on the line. It's a tattoo that could really screw him out of other jobs. It's literally saying, hey, I'm putting my neck on the line for this. So there's like that.
It's
That made me like the tattoo more. I still don't love it, but it's
cool. Anyways, we had a really solid sequence from Darby there. Corkscrew did the corkscrew plancha into a pin into working the arm.
Yeah, that was pretty freaking brutal, just going out their hand like that. Jesus.
Oh, I love that shit.
That is
weird
good.
Little quick sliding turnaround thing Darby does. That's great.
Skateboarding stuff.
Is it skateboarding stuff?
I don't know.
He probably learned it there.
I think I've seen Osprey do a similar sort of thing, but
right.
I do like it as a thing. I mean, it feels skateboardy, but I don't think it's a skateboarding thing. Like,
yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right on that one. Anyways, I love the expressions right there.
Yeah, that was amazing. If you do that skateboarding, that is gonna burn because you're using on concrete.
Yeah,
but yeah, that oh shit, I just fucked up face from Darby was beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Aubrey Edwards hopping up and down telling Cody not to do that.
Aubrey is really good. I like Aubrey.
I mean, it was the moment when she did the giant "You're out of here." I think that was during a Jericho match.
Yeah, that was beautiful, and the way Ortiz sold it like a gunshot was beautiful.
Yeah, it was Jericho Moxley at Revolution. Ooh, shotgun drop kick. Nice.
Beautiful.
I think the biggest absence from his moveset at this point, I don't think he was doing that like flipping stunner thing he does.
We are at 15 minutes though. This is a 20-minute match, folks. Can one of these men put the other away before the time limit?
Thanks, Ed.
Subtle.
Not subtle.
I gotta say, I think this might be the longest I've seen Cody have his weightlifting belt on.
Oh yeah,
He's still got it on. Crossroads. No, I was gonna say that's not a crossroads.
No, that's a superplex, but reversed.
I just want to point out, Darby took that on the knees.
Where else do you want to take that?
He's used to it.
Well, I don't know if that's worse or better, but it's not what I'm used to seeing.
Trust a professional wrestler to know what to do. Although it might.
Yeah, he seems fine. It was just noticeable.
Okay. Yeah. Super inverted plex.
Oh, it was still a superplex.
Fair. Just inverted, reversed, however you want to say it.
Yeah, still a suplex. Like, I'd allow it.
Damn it, I missed my moment. Oh boy. It's this part.
Biting the hand.
No, not that. Soup bones, Cole. Something else. Yeah. Prepare for the spot of the match. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, this.
Yeah.
And broken ribs.
Yeah.
I do think he actually did break a rib or two. He did that.
Yikers.
Yeah, that face said it all.
Ow.
Poof.
That was his spine actually hit the edge. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, you'd think it'd fuck his spine up, but apparently no ribs.
I do think the dive at Revolution was a bit scarier because it was something where I don't think he was ready for it. I don't know what it was going through his mind, but the dive at Revolution, it looked a lot more unplanned, obviously. When he like,
Another good call from JR.
but the dive at Revolution being when he like dived on Sammy and like just fell to the floor. That's pretty bad. Hey, it's his other signature spot. Getting put in a body bag and beaten half to death.
And now Cody's getting desperate because he realizes he's running low on time.
Actually, thinking about it, he hasn't had any other spots where he's been in a body bag in AEW.
Gotta save the body bag.
Master kick.
He's had it for like entrances occasionally.
Yeah, but I don't think he's been put in it since this. Cody also doing the disaster kick. He doesn't do that anymore.
I think he does occasionally.
He does the springboard stunner.
I think he kicked MJF, which wasn't too long ago. But he doesn't use it anywhere near as often. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is the oh shit moment. Oh, it's great. There's the rest of the weightlifting back. Also, can I just say it adds so much that Darby's face paint always comes off.
Yeah.
Always wears off. Like
I'd argue that's true of most face painted people. By the end of the match it looks like they've been through a war. It's kinda great.
Yeah.
Counter.
Dustin seems like he's better at it. Oh, there! He did do it. There's the stunner. Oh, all right, yeah. Crossroads. There's one. So good. They timed it really well too.
Yeah.
You gotta say for a match where it ends at a time limit draw, they got a surprising amount. It got a surprising amount of cheers.
Yeah.
Everyone realized
and also established that the 5-minute draw can 20-minute time limit. There we go. That the time limit draw can be a thing in AEW.
Yeah. And they stay with it. Like they don't do any like 5-minute add-on or anything. Like even if it doesn't make total sense from a shoot perspective or kayfabe perspective because Cody is an EVP. Like you think he would be able to add on time. But
here they are advertising the first rematch because that's probably why they put this. Not probably, it's literally in the title. That's why they uploaded this in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very good match. Very good storytelling from Cody. Great debut for Darby. Looks strong as hell.
Great pick there, James. Thank you for that.
Happy to.
And he certainly made a name for himself with that. Like the coffin drop off the apron, that's a moment when he made his name in AEW pretty much.
Yeah, fucking hell, that is a rough spot to watch.
Yep.
Fun.
Random question. Who do you guys think is going to be the cover star for the AEW video game?
I kind of want it to be MJF, just so he can have another thing to be smug about.
I think he has enough time in the company. I would say...
I think they got to go babyface just for the sake of it would sell more copies. Just because that's how marketing works. People are more likely to buy into the good guy than something else, right?
What if it was like the Inner Circle?
Maybe.
Like that would be
That could work.
fun. That and it would work so well from a kayfabe perspective. Like I could totally see Jericho going on and on about how they're the Cup of Stars in AEW 2K21 or whatever.
Not going with the 2K bullshit now.
AEW Revenge then.
I think they
That's
could
a nice
easily do the thing that WWE used to do, and it's just there isn't a particular cover star. They just have some cover art that features multiple wrestlers. I think
I
that
could
would
see
work.
that. Putting like one of the banners from Dynamite that they use to advertise Dynamite. I mean, in general, that aesthetic would work pretty well for a video game cover
Oh yeah, absolutely.
with the burst.
Like I feel like Kenny would just make too much sense because he is the video game guy. Like that.
I mean, you in the same vein, you could put Brandon Cutler there.
No, that's what they do when they release the AEW tabletop RPG. That's
yes.
If they ever do that, we are playing that some way, somehow on a podcast.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm down in that incredibly unlikely event.
If it ever happens, I'm holding you to it because of this podcast is going on air.
James, now I'm not sure if they've done this on what they've done with him on being the Elite because I haven't watched it in like forever. But Brandon Cutler, I can just totally imagine Brandon Cutler just running D&D sessions in the back and catering during every Dynamite.
It's not bad. No, yeah, they've mostly just been advancing his feud with
Peter Avalon.
Peter Avalon about who's the biggest loser in AEW.
Oh right, yeah, that was in the Battle Royale. I remember I saw on Twitter, Ring of Honor announced that they're doing Roll of Honor, where it's them playing tabletop RPGs, including Cheeseburger and some Cheeseburger being a bard, and them having two bards in their party, which is kind of funny. But in the comment section, Brandon Cutler crying in the corner. Yeah. Anyways, great match pick, James.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm happy to watch that match again. That was excellent.
Indeed. And now we're on to the dark match. Doot, doot, doot. This one is, as mentioned earlier in the show, best match stipulation as picked by me. Pretty straightforward. Stipulation matches are a pretty cool thing. Always add to a pay-per-view or feud, as long as your name isn't WWE, because we haven't met our WWE ragging on quota for the show. Anyways, so I have first pick since I chose the topic, and I'm going with, well, my theme for the last two ones. Although I have to admit, James stole my pick last week for the best wrestling T-shirt, was simplicity is best, and I'm going to continue with that theme. My pick for the best match stipulation is 2 out of 3 falls match.
Okay, not where I was expecting that to go.
Well, it's really quite simple. It just adds to the storytelling of a match. The entire I generally think multi-fall matches are like a great way to end a feud. Yeah, but the Iron Man match, it can be a bit too gimmicky, and like the storytelling becomes so focused on that Iron Man aspect. 2 out of 3 falls adds enough to a feud without overpowering it. I mean, you can certainly make a case. I can certainly make a case for a ladder match or stuff like that. Like it adds so many insane spots. But 2 out of 3 falls. If you want to tell really good storytelling while still adding something. It's the perfect thing. I mean, and also it's very well proven. Like there's been so many really good matches with the 2 out 3 falls stipulation. Like often the best storytelling comes from it. Off the top of my head, you have Kenny Omega versus Okada. You have DIY and DIY and Revival. It's just a really good stipulation. And I mean,
would agree.
and I mean, while we often don't see it finish with one team picking up 2 falls before the other can even pick up one, like it's always a kind of possibility that can add to a shock factor. I just think it's a good stipulation that adds to a match.
Again, very much agree. It is always fun to see it brought out. I do have to ask, how do you feel about 3 stages of hell?
Okay, so I haven't watched the 3 stages of hell match.
So, 3 Stages of Hell is just a 2 out of 3 falls match, but each fall has a gimmick.
Yeah, I know the concept of it. I haven't watched a match, so I can't really judge it. But on paper, it sounds a bit. It just sounds a bit cluttered.
I'll actually agree. I think it's a bit much, especially because once you've assigned a gimmick to all 3 falls, it's like, okay, they're not gonna not do the tables match. Right? You know for sure they're going to fall 3, whereas at least with the regular one, it's possible. You know.
Yeah, I think I have a list of most of the matches that have been in WWE that have 3 stages, and there's only been a total of 5.
And sometimes they don't use the term, so I don't even know. Like Gargano Cole was functionally.
Yeah, that's on this list I'm looking at.
Okay.
Wait, Gargano and Cole had a.
Apparently, August 10th, 2019, their first fall was a standard
Takeover
match.
Toronto too. I was at that show.
Wait, takeover what? Which takeover?
The second Takeover Toronto. It was last year.
Okay. Yeah, I saw. I wasn't watching that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even the third fall. I don't was the Asylum match in Cage with Weapons.
Yeah,
did
that steel
we
cage.
forget that? I do feel like just from a like fantasy booking, I think it would be interesting if there was a 3 stage of hell match where the final fall was a normal match.
Yeah, usually it starts there. The only time actually, there's been 2 cases where there was no standard match, as far as I can tell. That was the second one, and then the 4th one.
Anyway, that's enough talking about a stipulation that
it's not on the list.
That isn't on the list. I don't think.
No, I do like the 2 out of 3 falls. That does add a lot to the story of the match and the feud itself.
It's simple, but it adds so much. It doesn't get in the way, but it enhances the match.
Fair enough. I can respect that.
Now, my pick is actually very different to yours, as it actually kind of mashes at least 2, maybe even 3 stipulations into one. And I am, of course, talking about the Elimination Chamber. Adds both basically the Hell in a Cell and the Royal Rumble aspect, where you have the countdown from being inside the pod. I just really like the carnage that it adds, and the fact that you do have somewhat of a surprise on who's going to enter when. And it's just a really cool concept that I love whenever it's brought out, which thankfully is every year.
Yeah, good pick.
I can respect that.
There's always been memorable moments in most of the chamber matches. There have been a few duds, namely the IC title one and the first tag title one, I believe. But overall, they've been generally amazing matches to watch and just beautiful carnage.
There was also the, what was it, Extreme Elimination Chamber?
Oh, yeah, we don't talk about that one.
Yeah. Elimination Chamber in my time watching WWE, I think it's been the one match that has been consistently at least adequate, if not good. Like that and the Royal Rumble have been consistently good. I think the one bad one was the one leading up to 34. I think that would be 2018. 2018 Rumble. 2018 the EC wasn't very good, but otherwise it's been very good. Like, can't say that about Money in the Bank, TLC, or Hell in a Cell for me. The ones I've watched.
2018's was 2018 the men's version ended on a bit dud because of Roman Reigns. We kind of knew that was happening, but the women had their first one, and that was generally a pretty good spot.
Yeah,
good match.
I was talking about the men's one.
Yeah, no, that was not the best showcase for the men.
Oh, and there was the women's one from this year. Cough, cough, Shayna Baszler, cough, cough.
Yeah.
WWE, why do you not know how to deal with Shayna Baszler? Like, I want her to succeed, but you keep either having her get beat and then jobbing out the person who beat her, or jobbing out your entire women's division to her and then having her get beat. One of those two.
Hopefully, we do have I'm not gonna spoil it. We do have. I may have picked an Elimination Chamber to come up soon for the podcast. Stay tuned.
So, I will say I did have a few ideas here. I thought of the Rumble, but that felt a bit too easy, so I didn't go for the Rumble. I also thought of being an absolute smart, and it would have been a respectable choice, to be clear. I thought of being an absolute smartass and saying the match type that has had the most amazing matches ever, and that would be regular singles match. But I decided to not go that way this time for once.
Way to live the gimmick, James.
Because quite frankly, I'm a simple guy. And if you get a proper blood feud going, there is no better way to end it than just having two people beat the fuck out of each other until one of them says they fucking can't anymore. So my answer is the I Quit match.
I thought
or the No Moss match, or whatever else you want to name it. But like that is
Hey, we met our Lucha Underground reference quota. Thanks, James.
I thought you were going last man standing there for a second, but you got me with the swerve with the I Quit match.
Also an audible match. I said until one says they can't go anymore.
I thought you were going towards First Blood, so I was
expecting that too. Honestly, both the First Blood and I Quit match need to be used a tiny bit more.
They don't. Well, I Quit kind of works, but they are more extreme stuff.
So my thoughts on First Blood is the blood makes things get more intense. But if it's First Blood, you then immediately end once there's blood.
It is a bit of a dud, yeah.
No, I don't mind a First Blood match, but that's my answer. It's I Quit match, or I think WWE may own the copyright, so whatever else people decide to call it. But that's my answer.
How can WWE own the rights to I Quit?
Specifically as a pro wrestling match type?
Yeah, how?
Yeah, that's doable.
It seems so
they own a few matches anyway.
If I lose, I will set myself ablaze and be my last.
I'm surprised you would know that reference, given that you're a new wrestling fan.
I think they own TLC as well, but regardless, doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means don't call it that. Come up with something legally distinct.
I mean, you can still call it tables, ladders, and chairs, no? Or do they have that locked too?
I'm not sure. I'm going off a vague memory that I can't even confirm is accurate in the first place, so maybe I should stop. But you got my answer. It's the I Quit match.
I Quit match. Good pick.
Fair.
I was so close to going with that singles match thing.
I think we will give you shit because that's not a stipulation.
Let's see how many times we can kick James from the call.
Like, I literally would have been, can you guys think of what match type has had the most all-time classics ever? Like,
the following match is set for one fall.
James versus a bear, so you can kill me. Is that it? Like,
hey, on my E-Fed, we're having Dionysus versus a bear. It's a wrestler named Dionysus. He's fighting a bear.
Fair enough.
Is Dionysus from Russia?
No, I think he's a
Is
big
anyone
fan.
playing as the bear, or is it just a bear?
I don't know. I think he's just a. I think he's just a big fan of Daniel Bryan.
Yep. I saw that.
God, those clips are so funny. Anyways, that's the dark match. We have best stipulation, 2 out of 3 falls versus elimination chamber versus um
The I Quit match.
the I Quit match in a first blood match.
Honorable
Someone else
mention.
said First Blood. My answer is I Quit match.
No, I said they're in a first blood match. These 3 match stipulations.
Sure.
Oh, fair.
All right.
Well, then 2 out
Well,
of 3 falls would probably win because there's almost always bleeding in the elimination chamber and the I Quit match.
Actually, yeah.
wow.
Holla holla. Anyway. That wasn't even a
You're
long reference. What purpose did that have?
You're really pushing for that title, aren't you?
Not really, because I've said other shit too.
I know, but you just had to say holla holla at the end.
I don't know, because it's the thing that got the most laughs earlier, so I'm beating a dead horse because I'm not funny.
That's it.
Honestly, I just thought of the better match stipulation, and that is going one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Guys, I think we have our name for the podcast, beating a dead horse.
Yep, that's the one.
That anyone who sees that who doesn't know what this podcast is gonna wonder what the fuck is this.
All right. Well, this has been our show. Thank you for joining us.
Don't actually beat horses, dead or alive.
No horses were harmed in the making of this podcast.
I mean, if it's already dead, I don't see. Anyway.
Jesus, James Christ.
Well, I'm not recommending you kill the horse, but a dead horse isn't going to feel pain. Anyway.
Jesus Christ. End it.
Outros.
What?
Outros.
What?
What?